Hello and welcome back. In this video, we are going to add our gig scheme. So the scheme that we will use for validation, and then also start with adding the model. Okay. Now for the scheme, I attached a file to this video that contains the scheme. So you can download it, and then in the schemes folder, you create gig.ts, and then you can paste its contents right here. Okay, I don't want to go through us typing all of this again. Okay, so for the schemes itself, we have two schemes defined here. One is for create, the other is for update. We just have the properties that we are going to send from the client, like the seller ID, profile picture, title, description, categories, subcategories, tags, price, cover image, expected delivery, basic title, basic description. And then the same, we have properties that we are going to need when we want to update a particular gig information. Okay, so go ahead and add all of this. I believe it should be easy for us all to understand. Okay, now we have the gig scheme. Let's go to our models. Okay, so in the models folder, I will create a new file. I'll call this gig.model. You can call it gig.schema, or let me call it gig.schema. Okay, just to be consistent. Okay, so gig.schema, and I think we already saw how the gig information will look like. So let me go right here, go to this dashboard, and I want to open my dev tools. Okay, so I'll open the dev tools, and then let's see what we have, or the information we have. I still have the gig information. Yes, I still have them. So, but once we create our seeding function, I'll delete the complete index. Okay, so for this now, you can see in the source, the information we need: seller ID, username, profile picture, email, title, description, and the rest. Okay, you can see all of this information. So this is what we need to create or add to our schemes. Now the idea we are going to follow is simple. Once we create or a user creates a gig, we are going to save to MongoDB. Now, I'm just adding it to MongoDB, okay? So I'll give you an option if you decide you want to fetch from MongoDB as well. In a normal case, you might decide, okay, since Elasticsearch, you want to use Elasticsearch, you can only add or retrieve from Elasticsearch. But I decided to add MongoDB to this, okay? So we are going to add to MongoDB, and then get the returned data, and then we add it to Elasticsearch. Okay, so repeat again, I just added MongoDB. For me personally, I don't really see maybe like a big benefits to using MongoDB and also Elasticsearch to store the gigs. So I just added it in case maybe you want to use MongoDB to perform some other operations. Okay, so here I'm going to import, or let me just add our const gig schema of type schema, and then I'll import that from Mongoose. Okay, and then let me change this equal to new schema, and then here start defining the properties we need. Now I need a seller ID. Okay, so we need the seller ID. It's going to be of type Mongoose. Okay, Mongoose dot schema dot types dot object ID. Okay, so the type of this seller ID is going to be a Mongoose object ID, and we want to make reference to the seller. We want to make reference to this. We can remove this. I don't think we need it. I will just set the index property to true. Okay, so I will just set the index property to true, and then here, once again, I'm using the username of the seller because the username will not be updated. Okay, the username will not be updated at all. So once they create the username, and that is it, they are not going to update the username. Had it been we are going to implement the feature whereby we update the username, the email, then I don't need to add the username. I will just use this seller ID as reference, and then I will populate, when making a request, just populate this information. Okay, but because I'm not going to be updating, or we are not going to be updating the username or email once they have been created, then it's fine. We can set the username here as well. Okay, so required is going to be true. Here we are not indexing this. Okay, I can duplicate this as well. I'll set this to profile picture. Okay, so I've explained why I have the username, profile picture, seller ID. Okay, then we need the email. These are information from the seller, okay, that we are adding right here. And then the next thing is we can add the title. So this is going to be the title of the gig. Okay, so it's going to be of type string. It's required. We're going to add the description. Okay, so the description of the gig. If we go back here, let's see. Yeah, you can see the description. We have the description, the long description, and yeah, we have the basic title, the basic description. So this will be the long title, this will be the long description. Basic title is going to be the short title. Basic description is going to be a short description. Okay, so I'll add basic title here of type string, basic description as well. They are required. Then other properties, I'll add categories. Okay, it's going to be of type string. It's just going to be probably one gig will just appear. We have just one category, but it can have subcategories. Okay, so it will have one main category, but it can have multiple subcategories. And now I'll add subcategories. This is going to be an array. Okay, and it will be an array of strings. Type string, required true. So the gig will just have one category. Okay, we belong to one category, but it can have multiple subcategories. Okay, and then we have tags. Let me duplicate this. I'll call these tags. Okay, if we go back here, we can see, yeah, this is how the tags will look. This is how the subcategories. Okay, we have tags. Then we have the active property. So active is going to be of type Boolean, and the default is going to be true. Okay, so when a gig is created, the default value of this active property is going to be true. And then I'll add expected delivery. Expected delivery is going to be a string. It's going to be of type string, and the default value is going to be empty. Okay, and we have some other properties like the rating count. So rating count, the same we added to the seller's schema. Okay, ratings count, the type is going to be a number, and then default is going to be 0. And then we have rating sum. Okay, type number, default 0. And let's copy and paste the rating categories. Okay, so if I go to user, service, models, seller, I need these rating categories, so I will just copy it instead of typing everything again. Okay, so we need the rating categories. Okay, and then we have other properties like the price. The price is going to be of type number, and the default is going to be 0. Okay, and then we need the sort ID. Okay, remember that we are going to be using the sort ID to sort. Okay, if we go right here, the sort ID needs to be a number. You can see it right here. Okay, so we need that sort ID. And then we have other property, 2 more properties. We need the cover image. This is going to be of type string and required true. Okay, now for the cover image, we are only going to allow just one image to be uploaded. Okay, so maybe later you can add allow the user to upload multiple images. You just need to convert this to an array. Okay, so this is going to be string, and then lastly we add the created art, but this one is going to be a date, and the default is going to be date.now. Okay, so these are some of the properties that we need in our schema. We're going to stop here. In the next video, we continue with this schema.